Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who have understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
I left alone. My mind was blank. I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Can I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? And just what I saw in my old dreams, were they reflections of my Walkman staring back at me? 'Cause in my dreams, it's always there, the evil face that twists my mind, it brings me to despair.
And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan and this is Decode, your reality. Today we're doing one on the Sun versus Saturn. That's right, these guys are going to go head to head. This is Sun versus Saturn Decoded, and man, I have a boatload of information to throw at you today, tonight, however you're watching. Here we go. So these are my methods I use for decoding. Typically, I just use the Chaldean. Today, I'm throwing in the English Ordinal. So we're using both numerology systems. I'm also obviously using science, one of my favorites. We can measure these numbers using the atomic elements and their weights, their personalities. And then, of course, to get a visual of the numbers, we're going to throw in the tarot system. Then, of course, last but not least, you got to have common sense. Most people don't have that. Not you, but most people don't have common sense. So here we go. I mean, this is the rundown. I'm doing a little bit, I'm trying to step it up a little bit, give you guys a little more. On the left-hand side, these are all the categories I'm going to be running through. Obviously, the one that's highlighted in green is the one I'm going to be going with. And here we go. I mean, this really, these planets here are in opposition. This planet here, Saturn, is the last planet that is visible by the naked eye. Of course, this goes back to ancient times. It always stopped at Saturn. In the Vedic system, you follow astrology, they stop at Saturn. They don't even use or measure Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Maybe some of the newer systems do, but the older Vedic systems do not. So this is the stopping point, and for good reason, and we're going to get into that. But these are in opposition to one another, so that's what I've done tonight. I really, when I started doing and decoding this stuff, you'll notice I have the surface temperatures of the Sun and Saturn. They're measured in kelvins. You can convert those into Celsius, but typically in astronomy, they're measured in kelvins. But interestingly, we start off with the numerology aspect. The Sun and Saturn. Sun is 14, Saturn is 21, and look at what we have here. The Sun is 365, and of course, how many days are in a solar year? 365. Kind of interesting, and of course that's a solar year, as in the Sun. Now Saturn's a 21, and when we take these two numbers and we divide them, because they're opposing forces, that's right, that's why I had this song playing in the beginning of this, because you guessed it right, you're looking at the 666. We are the beast. We all know, or most of us know, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, carbon, the element that contains all that. We are the beast, 666, and we sit right smack dab in the middle, and we're going to get into that really, really detailed. The temperature of the Sun and Saturn, again, the Kelvin, the Sun is 5,778. The Saturn surface temperature is 95.15. When you divide those into one another, you get the number 60.72, which is huge. Now, if you break it down and reduce it into numerology, I kind of faded out the 0, but you get the 69 right there. Of course, the speed of Saturn is 9.69, so I mean that kind of falls in suit. But I thought this was the biggest takeaway right here, starting measuring things in the Hebrew system. Kind of mind-blowing, thanks once again to Mr. John Petrie. Thank you, John, for showing me so many great nuggets, and this is another one he brought to my attention many moons ago when we first started talking, but Strong's Concordance, which is in relation to the Bible. And when you break down the words using the Strong's Concordance, you'll get a number. You'll get the original word, and here it is right here in the Hebrew, and look at what we have, the word judgment. The word judgment equals the number 60 in the Hebrew ordinal, which matches this right here, the 60, which is the dividing factor of the Sun and Saturn, and that's exactly what happens in between these two planets. We get judged, but we are the beast. What kind of beast are you going to be when it's time for judgment? And we're going to get into the judgment aspect. Moving on, and here we go, into the judgment aspect. We are the 20. And why I say that is because this is the Sun's card right here, which is the element potassium. And then, of course, you have Saturn's tarot card, the world card, and the element scandium. You know, Saturn equals 21, as I showed right here. Most of you know that in the Chaldean cipher. But we sit right here in the middle, and that's why the 20th card in the tarot is the Judgment card. Because in order for us to ascend, and we're going to get into that, we must go through the guy who takes and judges and rules our bones and whatnot. But I mean, our bones are made of calcium. Much of our bones are made of calcium, are they not? So it's very fitting that we are the 20. 20. And you know, keep in mind, the word Jesuit equals the number 20. And that's in the Chaldean, by the way. You're not going to find that in the English ordinal. I'm not knocking the English ordinal, but you won't find it. Those that rule, I believe, use the Chaldean exclusively. But I promise you, that's why Jesuit equals 20, because they believe they're going to rule us. That's what they try to do anyway. They're the mercenaries. And we have to ascend. We have to go through the sun and move through. I mean, ascension is going up, so it's going up the ladder of the elements, not going down. When we go through the flash of creation, we go down all the way to the first element, which is hydrogen. Now, interestingly enough, the word 20, which is right here, we're the 20, in the English ordinal equals the number 122. And I'm going to get into that because there's great significance. But I wanted to touch base on this again, moving through the 19, 20, and 21. In order to go through this Vesica Pisces right here and out onto the 22nd card, which is the Fool card, we need to create alchemy. And that's why alchemy equals the number 22, because that's exactly what we do when we move through this. We transmute from the physical to another dimension into the spiritual. That's exactly what happens, and it all starts within the 20. Now, again, I was going to mention, what is the 122? We now move on to 3.14 gold. It's pi gold. And I believe you can measure everything using the decimals of pi. Everything contains inside the 3.1, the never-ending perfect circle. And when we measure 122 decimal places, look at what we end up with. The last three digits, 7. I mean, are you kidding me? 709. You take away the 0, and you now have the element gold. I mean, is it obvious? Are you guys seeing these kinds of things? What do you see at this point? Maybe it's a little premature. I'm going to keep going. Now, 777 jackpot, I believe, Vegas. The jackpot of the slot machines, they use that 777 because that is what we are. We are a jackpot. And the reason why I show this is because when you break down the sun, here's the sun and the world, and you break them down in numerology, not only do you get the 64, and that's, 64 squares on a chessboard. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But the sun equals 28 and the world equals 36. And once again, when you divide those two, just like we divided the sun and Saturn, you get the number 0.7777. It keeps going. But I think you get the picture. 777. We are the jackpot coming into this incarnation. We are gold. Okay? Now, I did this before. I've shown this before. I am that I am. If you haven't seen this video, please do check it out. I am that I am. I decoded that. And it equals the number 206. Of course, interestingly enough, God equals 26 in the septenary system. But I thought this was super interesting right here. The sun is potassium and Saturn is scandium. And when you use these little letters here that they go by, their little, code names. It's K and SC. You'll notice it's the 2 and the 6. Right there. I mean, it's in plain sight. I mean, I don't know how much more clear it needs to be to you, ladies and gentlemen. I am that I am in the Chaldean equals 26. And then, of course, Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh in the Hebrew equals the number 26. I mean, it's crystal clear to me right here exactly what's going on. Crystal clear. What do you see, though? Now, the game of chess, I've decoded this before, showing that Jesus is the black, Lucifer is the white, the masculine and the feminine. I've shown this over and over before. But look at what we have here again. The sun and the world measuring in the Chaldean. We get the number 64. There's 64 squares on a chessboard. Do you think that this game was wrapped around this theory that I'm showing you here today? Again, these are just my opinions, my theory. These are my truths. I believe this is exactly how it is. But, hey, you got to believe it, not me. I already know what I believe. Crystal clear to me. Now we get into division, because we were talking about dividing the sun and Saturn. And this is the actual old etymology of it. It's the obelisk. That's the terminology that they used for division. And look at what it equals when you break this down in both the English ordinal and the Chaldean. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, if you know anything about the esoteric, you know how big the 47, the mirror of the 74 is. There's the 74, and then once again, there's the 26, and we just showed the 26 right here. I am that I am, the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh and the 26, and then, Saturn and the sun, their initials. I mean, I don't know, again, I don't know how much more clear it needs to be. I believe you have the sun, and you have Saturn, and you have us right there. You just flip it on its side, and of course this is the as above and so below. Right there. I mean, is this the yin and the yang? That's what I'm asking this question. I believe most certainly that's what it is. This is the division of it all. Now, getting into the Lucifer and Jesus, I posted something on this asking if it was a possibility, and I'm leaning towards that. I'm showing you this is a possibility, that Lucifer is the sun. That's why the Greeks worshiped Apollo, the sun god. Lucifer is the sun because let there be light. Lucifer is the light bringer, so he'd be the white dot. And then on the right-hand side, moving through the calcium, which is us, through the judgment card where we get judged, out on the other side is Jesus. Now, this card has the 4 faces of God on there, 4 faces of the, you have the man, the ox, the lion, and the eagle. And those 4 right there, ladies and gentlemen, equal 55. It's a master number right there. But do we move through this and to get to the other side and you through alchemy and get to the fool aspect and get to titanium, which is the 22nd element, which I believe is related to Saturn's moon, Titan. If this is Saturn's card right here, well, the next element, which is titanium, Titan, Saturn's moon, kind of ringing some bells now for you. That's what I firmly believe. I think it's crystal clear as to what's going on right here. And I believe this could be Jesus. I've done a video on Jesus, Saturn. Check that one out if you haven't seen it. A lot of correlations as to Jesus being Saturn or being a big piece of it. I mean, Jupiter is really the planet that comes to mind, but, is Saturn part of Jesus? Is Jesus part of Saturn? Or is it just flat out Jesus Saturn? Now, we are gold. And what do I mean by that? Well, once again, we're going to be dividing, and we take the element gold. Now, I showed you earlier on, right here, that 122 decimal places, 122, ends up being 709. And that's why I'm showing you gold. So gold right here is 196.967. Notice the double 96s inside those measurements. And when we divide those two, we get the number 0.20. And, keep in mind, in calcium, notice that number 96. I mean, I think it's undeniable that we are gold. And, hey, Zecharia Sitchin, if you followed his work on the Anunnaki and the whole story about mankind being here and, just mining the world for gold, is that really what it means? Let's just keep going. I mean, now we take 39.963, which is the atomic weight of calcium and we divide that into the actual atomic weight of gold, and we end up getting 0.20 again, matching that of the Judgment card, matching that of us. This is our incarnation, calcium, our bones, right there. And once again, let's show it through the initials of each element. A, U, and Ca ends up being a number 11, which is the number of magic. It's the alternating current. These are two lightning rods, alternating current, energy going up, energy coming down. And then, of course, last but not least, look at the numbers we have. For gold is 7, the initials, and calcium, Ca, is 4. We can break this down. I mean, this is gallium right here. You have sulfur right here. I mean, there's a lot of small little nuggets in there, but I thought the 7 and 4 was really predominant, and I think it tells a story right there, you know, matching that 74 of the obelisk that we showed earlier on. Now, last but not least, on the we are gold aspect, I wanted to add them up instead of dividing. So when we add gold and calcium together, we get the number 236. And when we do the numerology of 236, we get the number 47. You know, White House, Washington, D.C., Georgetown, all those add up to the 47. And of course, the big boy, tetragrammaton, equals the number 47. Are you kidding me? I mean, is it crystal clear to you like it is me? I don't know. What do you see? Now, moving on, that we are God. And I believe that firmly. We are the fingerprints of God. We are watered down versions, and that's why Jesus said in the Bible, ye are, didn't I say, ye are gods? Crystal clear there. 236 equals 136. We're going to break this down in numerology. Look at the correlations, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if it wasn't apparent enough, tetragrammaton is 47 in the Chaldean. Oh, let's just switch over to the English ordinal. 236, 236 is 166. Tetragrammaton in the English ordinal is 166. It's clear as a day right here what we are. Of course, we are gold, we are calcium, we get judged right in the middle of the Sun and Saturn, and they pull at us. And in order to get through, you got to go through the judgment period. And quite perhaps it could be next year, 2020. It's a double 20. I believe it's going to be a pivotal year next year. I mean, this year this is the year of the Sun right now. But next year, it's a pivotal year, 2020. Now, last but not least, I wanted to show you guys this right here. This really falls in line with the Sun and Saturn because, and I can promise you this will be the first time this has probably ever been shown before, unless, of course, you're associated with these secret societies. And even if you're at that point with the Rosicrucians, I don't even think they show this underneath it all, under the hush-hush kind of stuff. I kind of figured this out on my own, and what I did was I was looking. This is from a window on the Rosicrucian. This is the actual. These are photographs from Rosicrucian pieces, artifacts. I don't know how old these are, but I know these are Rosicrucian because there's the rose in the middle, and you'll notice there's the cross right there. And how I got to this is I noticed these squares here, and you know, lo and behold, I was like, wait a minute, these look like elements. And that's exactly what I think they are. And bam, there you go. And when you take out the surrounding, I call it the encasement, you end up getting the cross right there. And look at what's right smack dab in the middle of the rosy cross. It is us. It is gold. It is calcium. And right here, here's your crucifixion. But there is, you know, from top to bottom, left to right, or however you make the cross. Is this what happens when you make the cross on your body? When someone makes a cross on their body, are they giving tribute to this symbol right here? I mean, there's tons of churches that are built this way. The steeple is right in the middle. And, you know, come over to this one. Here's another rendition. There's the encasing of it. And then there's your cross. It's right there. It's completely obvious, is it not? And, of course, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, crown equals 23, right at the top, Vanadium. And that's why Michael Jordan, that's why LeBron James, that's why they wear the number 23, because it is the crown right here. And you'll notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, representing the 7 chakra points. This is the crown chakra right here. I promise you, that's the way this is. This is the way it works. And there's your encasement right there. It's all the elements up to the number 24. 24 equals 51. London sits at the 51st degree latitude north. This is the last step before you get to the next level. But there is your crucifixion right there, ladies and gentlemen. That has everything to do with the Sun and Saturn, because there they are right there. It's the Sun card and it's the World card. And there's the Judgment card right there. That's where we sit. That's where we incarnate. And there is your cross. So what do you see? You know, I showed you a lot of stuff. But what do you see in particular? I know there's some things that I didn't point out, some things you probably see, especially on this. I mean, is this not mind-blowing right here? I know for sure, 1,000%, this is the way this is with these Rosicrucian and all these elements and this picture and why these things have squares. It's because of it being just like that. Pretty amazing, I think, but I think it stands the test here that we sit right in the middle. Calcium, we are gold, and the Tetragrammaton runs the entire show. What do you see? You know, I know what I see. We're gold, we're calcium, we sit right in the middle and we get judged, and of course you ain't making it out until you get through possibly the Apostle Jesus Christ. Well, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Thanks for watching.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who have understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666. 66, the one for you.